What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We'll start here in a minute. The first chat I see is Cooley, and he says he's second. That's awesome. Wayne in attendance as always. Thank you, Wayne, for being a longtime supporter of Tank Radio. And Robert is in the background. And what is up, John? We're going to have some fun today. We're just going to let all the YouTube stuff pop and notifications go through so we can get everyone in attendance and have them a chance to hang out with us from the top. Also, right now I'm trying to find the Windows mic stuff. They keep moving it. Input properties. Got it. Got it. And the first one up with the Tank Radio is John! Prep him, Paul. What is up, man? I can't wait to see you in a couple weeks. Robert's also going to be there in a couple weeks. We're going to have some fun. All right. Message redacted. There it is. Cooley with it. Let's go ahead and hit that transition and drop the mic a little bit. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? I'm Frank, KG5AHJ, and we're going to have some fun. We got Robert in the background. We're going to be talking about this is going to be the final stream. I know my channel's been pretty much this for a month, but this has been so cool. I could not just let this go without talking about it bajillion times because I loved everything about this project. Other than it happened during the week, and that really limited the times I was able to get in the backyard and try to find it. But anyways, we are here. This is the final. We got information about what happened, and I can't wait. So let's go ahead and start as always by playing that awesome intro video. And I got cut by 50%. Thank you, Windows. Quick shout out to all my Patreons who makes the show possible. You can support me by joining Patreon in the link below. And on to Tank Radio. Off mic. There we go. I corrected it before the chat told me. I am a genius. Well, I'm just doing this long enough. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you for hanging out. We are going to have a fun stream, as I said before. I corrected the audio before audio came in the chat. Yes! We're going to be talking farm to ham. Before we do that, I'm just going to do my quick rundown here. Thank you all to my Patreon supporters. I can't do this without your help. And just Windows, it's just killing my mic today. Stop it. Sorry. Distracted there. All the channel supporters are listed in my credits as far as my top 2 tiers. There's 3 tiers, and the top 2 gets credits. And the top tier, we meet once a month, and that's actually going to be happening in 2 weeks. And we're going to be probably talking about Dayton's coming up. Dayton's coming up. It's going to be so much fun there. Buy me a beer. Super chats are active. I'm not going crazy on this one because this is kids, so we're not really drinking too much. So I want this to be available to them. So we're just hanging out, having fun tonight. Tank Radio mouse pads over on the Etsy store by James. He does a great job with the Etsy's, and we have a Tank Radio mouse pad that has all the US band plans. You know, I should be showing this as I'm talking about it. What is it? Show, not talk. And blah, Tank Radio mouse pads. That didn't work here. Yes, it did. It's easy. Google search will pull it up. The Tank Radio mouse pad is available now over on the store. Hey, Robert. You were just on the scene. Sorry. These are great Tank Radio mouse pads. Great for Poda and Soda. Finally, gigaparts, I'm working with them. We're working with satellites, and one of my newer videos going to be coming up later in the month is my satellite pack. I'll talk about that in a minute, but it's up, it's running. I didn't make a contact yet, but it's coming. I can't wait. I can't wait. Finally, the audio podcasts. The audio podcasts are released once a week, so that means when there is no Tank Radio live stream, because my live stream the second and fourth Sundays, there is a audio podcast still, and you only know what those audio podcasts are if you run over there and hang out with me on the audio podcast. It's easy to find it. Just search Tank Radio on any podcaster app you find, and you'll find me, Tank Radio. And if I didn't say, 5% off at Gigaparts. Use Tank at checkout. All right, so this is your minute heads up. Give me a thumbs up, Robert, once you're ready. We're going to be talking about FRAM2. It happened, it launched, it made it, everyone's home safely, and Robert's going to come on and talk about his participation in it, and I got an email from Randy. I'm going to go over some highlights later. What's going on, Robert? How are you today?
I am fantastic. Thanks for having me on, Frank.
Yeah,
This is going to
thank
be
you.
fun.
Thank you. You got a lot of the images. Before we talk about what those images are, let's kind of go from the top, right? The FRAM2 launch was a polar orbit, private funded SpaceX Dragon capsule awesomeness. That several of there are 4 private astronauts that were launched, and one of them is a amateur radio operator who wanted to do a side mission about amateur radio and promote STEM, and a part of that is she was transmitting slow scan images on single sideband, and I'm pausing a little bit. Here we go. And since this was a unique orbit, these images were over polar regions, and they were broken up into 4 different sections. 3 images, 4 sections, 12 pieces total, and the kids had to go out and do slow scan imagery to download it, put the puzzle pieces together, and they were and there's a competition around it. And the launch went off without a hitch. And it was successful. They got up there. Actually, there wasn't a delay. Was there one delay?
Mm,
Was it
a
the first?
little bit, but it wasn't much of a delay.
No, yeah, but when they launched, we did have a live stream when they launched, and there was like active lightning in the background, and it was like a storm cloud. It felt like they were going to delay. That's where it came from, because at the rocket launch itself, a thunderstorm rolled through the area, and it was on its way out when they launched, and it was a successful launch. They didn't even have to even delay it much.
Yeah,
45
yeah.
and Boy Blue. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Um, and then on the second day, they started transmitting. Actually, yeah. The first day they were up there, and then the second, or the first full day on the mission second day, they started transmitting the slow scan images for the STEM research. In order to download these, it's recommended you to have a satellite kit. However, we talked about how you didn't have to have a satellite kit. You could just use any HT, and hopefully something better than a rubber duck. But
Yeah, but you know, there were first of all, I let me just say that I think this was the most successful and the best example of trying to get youth involved in amateur radio that I've seen in
yes.
my entire radio career. I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
this was far and away the best, um, the, just the most successful at getting kids excited and getting kids involved.
Well, even
So
more than
the,
that, Kenny, adults excited. Look at me and you throwing at the mouth on
oh
this.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But you know, they had set up a Discord server, which was brilliant, right? Because all the kids are already in Discord. They know Discord. They're in Discord every single day for all their gaming and other stuff. And that Discord server was hopping like 24/7. This thing was on fire. There
Mm-hmm.
were over 700 people that belonged to this server, and like during the height of it, there were hundreds, like 400 people active on that server 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
It was it was impressive. It was really awesome. And everybody was, talking about their experience through the course of the competition. Now, you know, people were asked not to put their images out on that Discord server the uh,
And now,
until the competition was over.
mm-hmm. And they have
Um,
done that now.
and it is over, and people have started putting all their images up there. And but there were people saying, hey, I just got a partial image using my bow fang and a rubber duck, right? I mean, so there was the whole spectrum. You had
Mm-hmm.
people that had ground stations, that were really well equipped, that could, you know
This.
just grab every single frame. And
Mm-hmm.
then you had other folks who were just figuring it out, trying it for the first time, and they had really modest stations, but they were still having success.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's another thing that
And
really kind of fueled the fire,
and
right?
people think working satellites, listed satellites, is a huge barrier, is a huge obstacle. And I'm not gonna lie, there is a little bit of know-how that you got to know on for the Doppler effect, and also knowing where the satellites are. But once you kind of get that down, it is easy. The learning curve here, it's not steep. There's a hump, but once you get kind of over it and know what you're doing, Robert, how many passes have you done now?
Oh, I don't know. I've been doing it since, let's see, I've got about 5 years worth of satellite activity under my belt.
Mm-hmm.
And but most of my 99% of my activity is in the field, portable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've done a little bit using my J pole with my 9700 here in the shack,
Mm-hmm.
but far and away, my experience is portable, and almost 95 probably percent of my contacts are made outside of my home grid,
Yeah.
right? Because I'm always doing it on the road. I'm doing it at
And
Hamfests. I'm doing it at
anywhere I'm with you,
camping.
Robert, there's at
That's
least
it.
one satellite attempt. And
Yeah.
sometimes you ask other people to bring the antennas to make it easier to fly, but you're
Sure.
always doing it, man. You're always doing it. And
Yeah. Well, I've optimized my kit to
mm-hmm.
travel, right? Because I think it's, one of the coolest things I think is helping people collect grid squares,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Before
I
we
like
get into
operating.
all that, let's just kind of finish kind of going over the
Yeah.
farm stuff,
Yeah.
man, because I do want to dig into that. Let's kind of put that on the second half. Boom. Because I'm itching to show everyone officially it's
Oh, looky there.
done.
Looky there. And
Yeah,
Frank keeps calling it farm. It's Fram, right?
farm.
Just so folks, um,
Do it.
so they're
Roast
not
me.
confused, right? It's Fram 2. And but Frank's going to call it farm every single time. So just get over it.
It's
And
dyslexic. I'm sorry. Is there's people in the chat saying that? I'm
no, no, I'm
okay.
just in case people are confused, right?
I
It's
look at it and I see farm, and this how my
it's
mind
just one
works.
of,
It grabs the
yeah,
closest and easiest thing.
it's
Fram,
just you
drill it
know
into me.
that's
Well,
what
it's a,
that's one of that's one of Frank's quirks, and we all love him for it. So, but just to make sure folks aren't getting confused, right? It's Fram 2,
Fram
and I
two,
saw that comment in there. Again, that Discord server was phenomenal. You had
dude.
all the kids who were participating,
At
and then
first,
you had lots of experienced hams that were giving advice,
mm-hmm,
providing guidance,
mm-hmm,
right? Mentoring. And then of course you had the official folks from Eris, and those folks that were kind of running the program, so to speak. Um, it was it was fun. And I tell you, that Discord server is still up and running,
mm-hmm.
and it's still active, right? I mean, there's still a lot of kids on there, and there's an SSTV event going on right now on the ISS, so they just kind of let it roll and just trying to
That I was
capture
going
that
to speak to
momentum.
that in a second, but I was going over my email with Randy, who said he was going to try to be here, but did not make it. Um, he said there was, from the feedback he got, close to 208,000 different stations listening to this event.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's crazy.
Jeez. And
That's
then
crazy.
that Discord server, it was so loud. It's like one of my other Discord servers. I muted it all. And I had one channel unmuted. And even then, when Fram was up, I had to mute it because there was, I got it here, I got it here, and I got
I
it there.
know.
But I'm
I
like,
know.
I'm stuck at work. I can't do this. And
And it's international, right? It
yeah.
was very much an international competition. So it's going 24 by 7,
Mm-hmm.
right? I can't tell you how many nights I was up until, 1 o'clock in the morning, just checking it all out because it was so cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was just so much activity. And I tell you, whenever you have people on there who are asking questions and you can tell their excitement and they're feeling the pressure because they want to get an image. I mean, it just makes you want to help them, right? You just see how excited they get. You want to help them out. And there were a lot of great people doing just that,
Mm-hmm.
trying to get these kids, to be successful. And there was a lot of success, a lot of fun,
And a
and
lot of
it
learning.
was a lot of learning. It was a fantastic event.
And a lot of people kind of rolling into what is satellites, what is radio, and slow scan images themselves. So this was cool. So um, you want to let's go ahead and talk about the winners, so then we can officially talk about the winners. And then, do
Okay.
you have the images that you downloaded so we can see what images were transmitted?
Yeah, I do actually.
Okay,
I've got a few images. I've actually got them. I don't know if these will show up. I've actually got them cut out on paper because I was
nice.
putting the puzzle together. Right. That was part of what you do is you had to put the puzzle
Cool,
together.
cool. So, do you have
Um,
them on the computer to show us in a second?
I do have
All right.
them. I'll let me get
When
those.
when
Let
you're
me get
getting
those
ready,
queued up.
I am going to show the official post by Aries. And if you're not familiar already, Aries stands for Amateur Radio ISS. This group is amazing at working with STEM and schools and the mine went blank and NASA for doing satellite communications with the ISS with kids in a school, and they're doing it with actual astronauts on the ISS. The number of times that they did these contacts and kids and showing them learning what STEM is and what radio is awesome. So if you haven't looked into that group already, they're an amazing group, and support them if you can. All right, so here it is. The grand prize winner was Team 17, and their call sign was Aries to Cats. That's fun. And it says, oh man, I can't pronounce those names. Those are wicked names. Can you see that? I was these a New Zealand team, a Pennsylvania team, a team in Italy. This was really international, and a
Yeah.
Californian.
Yep, all these teams were pretty international, and really, if you think about it, that's a very strategic decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have all your eggs in one basket, right? If you're just working with people from your high school or your
I,
college or
I
whatever
get
that
what you're
is,
saying. So this was a truly distributed team, and they were had multiple stations set up and contributing
right?
to the same
You
group
get more
work.
passes, right? So you have one orbit. If you've got people in
That's
several
devious.
countries, no, it's not devious. It's strategy.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, so the best teams would have been international teams. It just makes sense.
Additional winners that said a team from Norway, Whiskey One Hotel Lima Oscar and Lima Alpha One Kilo. The teams activated, or has, I guess this is stations now, were in Connecticut, Norway, uh, Hem- Hemden Creek, Pennsylvania, and a Journey station. So again, another distributed team. Then
Yep.
also Team 19, they had stations in Greece, Pennsylvania, France.
Pennsylvania was killing it.
Wow, I need it right. And a New York station.
Was
That
that Kentucky in there as well? There you go.
yeah, I didn't see.
France, Kentucky, New
Yeah,
York,
that's Team
Pennsylvania,
15.
Greece.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, I was looking at 19, right? It's got Union, Kentucky in there as well.
n- nice.
Yeah, but look at that. Somebody from Pennsylvania in each one of those winning teams. So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
uh that's where I grew up. So I'm a Pennsylvania kid before I got to Texas. So I got here as quick as I could, but I
Mm-hmm.
grew up in PA.
So screen share is enabled once you're ready, Robert.
All right, let me see here.
I tried to listen to several of these, but the times I was able to get out, they weren't transmitting. And we were
Well, you know,
texting about one of them.
that was one of the challenges
Mm-hmm.
is you had again, that's why you wanted to have a distributed team.
Mm-hmm.
Is that visible, Frank?
It is, but it's like super, super small.
Yeah, I'll see if I can blow it up here. So, how is that? Is that visible, more visible?
That is more visible.
Yeah,
Yes.
and look, the so this is image number one. So let me tell you guys about my experience. First of all, I had one good pass
Mm-hmm.
and um not all so here's the other thing is the um this project was run strictly on battery. So they had one battery source and they were being very strategic about when they transmitted
Mm-hmm.
to be able to maximize the radio use over the entire mission.
So what
So
Brandy was saying, very particular, they did a lot of math and calculations to know when the radio should be off, so they're not transmitting to the ocean or potential other areas that they shouldn't be.
that's right. And so there were only certain areas or regions that were able to participate, and um, they were only going to be transmitting over those regions. And they didn't transmit all passes.
Mm-hmm.
For example, you know, there was a 9:30 pass, and you know, I work from home, and you know that's usually the case 95% of the time. And of course, I have to go into the office during this event, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me.
Oh
So
no, you got
can
to
I
go to the
drag my
office
equipment?
during the
Yeah,
event.
yeah,
I
so
got to
it's
do
like,
it
can
every
I
day.
drag my equipment in
Uh huh.
and do this 9:30 pass? I wonder if I can get away with that. Well, I'm coming in because I have to meet with people that have traveled into
Oh.
DFW. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought, that's probably pushing my luck. So I'll just leave it at home. But the good news was they weren't even transmitting on that 9:30 pass on that morning. So point being, whenever there was an active pass, you had to jump on it and you had to kind of make hay when you could.
Mm-hmm.
All of my images were from the first opportunity that I had, and I got all of these images on a single pass. And so some of them are partials. You can see this one's a partial, and this is slide number one of 12. And I'll just zoom through these real quick here. I think I can zoom through them real quick.
Okay.
Let's see. Am I going to be able to zoom through these? I'm going to have to do this. So let's see. This is slide number two. So I got number
So
one
these
and
were
number
all.
two, and this is a partial again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, it was interesting that they it's not a full image. It was kind of a portrait image, or a I'm searching for the word. It's not coming.
Yeah.
Mosaic.
Well, yes. So puzzle, right? So what they did is they took images of
Oh, so it's
polar,
okay.
you
I
know,
see how they cut them now. I get it.
yep. So they found areas of polar significance, right? Significance and polar exploration is probably the best way to say it. And they took an image and they cut it into four puzzle pieces. That's
Yeah.
why that one logo is what it is, right? So the idea was you had to capture the images, then you had to piece them together and try to identify where these polar regions are.
Mm.
And so that was part of the fun. Now this here is image 8.
Oh, that came out
Now,
crisp.
yeah, so this came out really clean. I got like 5 images that were really clean. I believe they were having an issue with the early transmissions. Every single one of these early, you see, here's another one. You see how they kind of get cut off at the top?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all cut off at exactly the same place. So I think there may have been a transmission issue
Mm-hmm.
early on that they were
Or
able
it
to
just raw
resolve.
encoding. They the encoding, because I bet they were just replaying sound files.
Yeah, likely.
But
But
it's all the
something
same.
was not quite.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was
Mm-hmm.
getting great signal,
Mm-hmm.
and I had actually hooked a low noise amplifier up to my rig so that I could get better images. I mean, you can see these things are almost perfect,
Mm-hmm.
right? Except for at the very same spot, they all kind of break up. Now, here's number 12 too. Now, so that's these are the images that I captured. Now, let me bring up another
Ooh.
list here for a second.
Infinity. Okay.
I've got, let me see if I can find it here. I've got kind of the, what they call the exemplars. So these are the like perfect images, right? Or the best example. So what they asked folks to do was to upload these to the ISS SSTV website,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they kind of tracked them and saw that folks were actually pulling in images and those types of things. And that's what you had to do if you wanted to get a certificate. But let me go ahead and share here again. I
Yep.
think I'm ready. Okay. So these are images that came off of what they called, these were submitted images by different teams,
Mm-hmm.
and these are what they called exemplars. So these are like some of the best images
That's a great image.
for each of the different
I
slides.
wonder why they had him, and this is a question for Randy. So the image is created where the top and bottom is mirrored the same.
Well, because you don't know which direction they go, which way they go, right?
Okay.
So
So
you don't
you they
know
wanted them to
what's a
match
top
up.
and well, you don't know which one's a top and which one's a bottom. Now, what I did whenever I got when I with my images, I printed them out. I cut, I cut all the top and the bottom and the sides off so I could
Mm-hmm.
try to piece them together. But these are, these were, essentially practically perfect catches.
So those are beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, these are really great.
Do you know what day were these received on?
I do not.
Like you
That
said, I was wondering
information,
if it was on the second day when they might have fixed some
yeah,
encoding.
yeah. And I don't know. I'm not sure if we're going to get kind of a readout from um, from the group or not on some of the information, some of the details around things. But I hope they do that. Right? It'd be great to find out how many images were submitted.
That's why I was
Um,
trying to get Randy on just to talk about
yeah,
that.
yeah,
How many images, talk about the distribution of the teams, but it sounds like some of these teams were worldwide, and that blows my mind, the cooperating like that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and
Well,
I,
that's one of the that was one of the goals, I believe, of the program,
mhm.
right? Let's try to foster some international goodwill. Now, this is a great image here. This kind of um, I kind of laughed. This is kind of a tell right here. This landmass. This
It's
kind of looks
very
like
unique.
two dogs, right?
Hmm.
It's kind of like can I swing this thing around? I think I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it almost looks like a crest, like with a dog looking this way and a dog looking that way,
I see
right?
it. I see it.
Yeah, yeah. And so,
Kind of
one
Game
of
of
the things,
Thrones.
yeah, exactly. So one of is like your crest or your shield. One of the things that you had to do then is try to figure out where these images were, and that was certainly a telltale image right there.
Hmm.
And that's from the Svalbard
Oh, you found it.
set of images. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So I had collected 9 images, and I was able to determine 2 of the 3 locations. So this one being Svalbard, which made complete sense because uh, all of the um, all of the astronauts had some link to this island. So
Hmm.
many of them had met there. They had worked on different projects there. So it completely made sense that that is one of the images. Another one of the telltale images. Let me see if I can find it real quick here. Not so much this one. This one here was another telltale image. Let me go ahead and swing this guy around. Now, this here,
I can't tell. Some of that looks
this,
like clouds or not.
well, yeah, certainly. Some of these are from the clouds, but these are islands right here. And if you do a little bit of searching, you'll see that these are the South Shetland Islands that are just off of the Antarctic Peninsula. So
Mm-hmm.
that was another one of the locations was the Antarctic Peninsula. Let me zip ahead here. I think I can show where I also have um I think I've got, yes, I do. All right, so here's one of the images put together,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this has got four images, 1, 11, 4, and 9 that make up Svalbard. So that's one of the images. Now, the way I always find it on a map, it's oriented in this fashion. But that's one of the collages there. This one
Or zoom in a
here,
little bit for us.
yeah, let me
There we go.
try to zoom in there. Let me see which one this is. This is the one I was not able to determine on my own. And I did see where it was, but I don't recall what it was. But this is one of the groups as well. But let me zip ahead. This here is the Antarctic Peninsula. And there's
Yep.
those islands, the South Shetland Islands, that to me were
Mm-hmm.
kind of a giveaway. Um, and, whenever I'm looking, let's see, how do I get this thing oriented? Well, I guess like that is likely the orientation that, well, probably like this, actually. If you go to like Google Earth or something and you swing down to the Antarctic, you'll be able to easily find this. These South Shetland Islands are pretty cool because there are so many different um, observatories and um, uh, there have been so many missions to these islands, right? And they have um, facilities that are left over from those missions that are still in operation in most of these islands right through
That's
here.
so cool.
Yeah, yeah. So those were the images themselves, and then let me see here. In case
The
someone
Franz
is,
Joseph Islands. Am- Amateur radio said his call sign
oh,
is.
was that was the other one?
Yep. Whiskey
Got
8.
it.
I'm just blanking on call signs today. Whiskey 8, Charlie Papa Tango. I had to get like the right mindset to read out alpha, the phonetic alphabet.
Here, let me share one more.
All
If
right.
if folks
Then we're
were
gonna roll
curious,
into what. Let's talk about our packs and what can we do coming up here.
yeah. So this is what if you were a participant and you successfully submitted, and it's any image. It didn't even have to be a full image, right? The fact that you were out there, you were doing the thing, you got something, you collected something, and you
Hmm.
submitted it, then you got one of these certificates, which is
Oh,
a
that's
really nice
awesome.
certificate. Yeah. So that was the award for those of us not in the competition. Now, for those that won the competition, right, they get some really cool stuff. They get some signed um, QSL cards and some other stuff, I think.
Oh,
So
that's so cool. Well, they when they were before they were actually doing the competition, a couple of the astronauts on board did get on the radio and were having a discussion. I saw that someone recorded it and posted it to YouTube. I was like, "Oh, that's so cool!" Of course, that happened when I was at work. Um, but
that's the way it
don't
always goes.
don't let so the Fram is deorbited successfully and everyone's back home, but don't let this be the ending of the interest of slow scan TV or just satellites in general, because currently the group Aries Amateur Radio ISS, where's my transition? There it is doing. Wait, did I messed that up? I messed
That's
that
it.
up.
Humans in space. That's it right
Oh,
there.
okay. Yeah, Humans in Space. They April 16th it's going to be ending, and it's currently live now on the ISS. They're transmitting images over slow scan TV, and there is 12 images in the set. And send your decoded images to Amateur Radio ISS slow scan TV, and that is going on right now.
Yep.
So, Robert, can I show you my kit now?
Yeah, let's see it.
Let's see it.
I'm excited to
I
see it.
just I just recorded me breaking it down, but first off, I'm going to talk about that later. Let me put off the white tube, but
Yeah,
this
I think
kit.
that reminds me of like Mike Brady, right? Whenever they would, the Brady Bunch would go
Yep.
off and he'd have his architectural drawings in one of
Yes.
those tubes.
Yep. So the whole kit's built around. I'm just smacking the mic. I'm sorry. Let me check Windows. Did it do something? Move that. Why can't I move that now? Anyways, I'm just gonna walk through the level there. It's built around the 9800 TYT radio. It's unplugged, so I swear it's in there. And here, I'll show you a mic. Haha. And
Nice,
that's in the main pocket. And then I have the Bioleno battery in a secondary pocket.
nice.
And I put it there because one, that makes it easy access to get to the battery for
Sure.
pulling it out, recharging, or if this is dead and I just wanted to grab the prison Denko battery and throw it in here and get it all working, I can. Because the power cord, I put it there also. And let's just plug it in. I think the Denko has power. There it is. We heard it. That's the TYT in there.
Ah, there you go. Very
Yep, yep.
nice. Frank, I'm so proud of you, man. Nice
Thank
work.
you. Thank you.
Nice work.
I had to cut a hole in the bag to make that happen. And some people are like, blasphemy, you ruined the bag. I'm like, no, I improved it for my purpose.
That's it.
Um,
Hey, if you're not going to use the bag the way it is, but you'll use it after you do a little
mm-hmm,
modification, then go for it.
mm-hmm. There's a couple other goodies in here I'm going to keep to myself for later. But the tube, I have just gear ties. And this is the
Okay.
elk antenna.
Okay.
And inside the tube, I put all the additional elements with it. So this with the gear
Nice.
ties, I could tie all this. Then I don't have to worry about the one of the elements falling loose because they're all inside right there.
Yep. Nice. Nice. Is that like a
See,
2.5 inch tube? Is that what that
I
is?
think it's a two and a half, or no. I think it's a 1 1/4.
Oh, really?
No, 1 1/2.
1.5.
One
Okay.
and a
Well,
half by
that's good
two.
to know, right? They'll all fit in a 1.5.
I was trying to get everything in here, including the main part.
Yeah.
But that main part, when
Yeah.
I
It's
went
that's
there,
tough.
I measured the length, but not the width with the screws.
Gotcha. So maybe if you did like a 3 inch piece of
Yeah, but
PVC, you
then
might be able
that
to.
that'll be a huge pipe
Yeah.
to have here.
Yep.
Um, but then it'll be everything self-contained. But I don't mind that hanging off by itself. I'm not gonna lose it or anything. Um, but then, in the back, then I got my coax cable right there.
Nice, nice. Hey, Frank, real quick, I just want to call out a couple of folks in the
Yes.
chat. First of all, 45 Auto, um, I chatted with him a little bit earlier. He was able to get some SSTV images. So
Nice.
super excited that he was able to get things going. I also want to call out Eric, KH6WI. Eric was also one of the mentors that was really helping folks and was really engaged on the Discord. Look, if you guys aren't watching Eric's channel, you need to watch Eric's channel. He does some great satellite stuff.
Mm-hmm.
he's always got something cool going on. So check out his channel. I'm always surprised how few subscribers he has. You guys
Mm-mm.
need to go out there and subscribe to his channel because he's doing some great stuff out there. But yeah, it was just great to
Drop a
see.
link, Eric. We'll make sure it gets out there.
Yeah, it was just great to see Eric in there helping folks, and I mean, and there was a lot of people for sure. And Eric and I may have went on a little tangent and you know chewed up the whole Discord for a little while, but hey, that's going to happen. Um, but yeah, also super stoked that 45 was able to get some images out
Hmm.
there, so that was really cool.
This was fun, and putting it together. Um, I wanted to, Robert, to film this video with you and to go out to your ranch and hang out with you and see the goats and put this whole kit together, but just the time didn't line up. So I built it. I built it. It wasn't that hard. Mostly was the hardest part was finding all the um all the pieces. You can drop it and we'll just throw it in there for you. Um, but yeah, getting all the pieces. The elk antenna, using it was pretty. The I do have a complaint with the
Okay.
handle it comes with. It makes the whole thing kind of unwieldy because the balance is off. I'm sitting there holding it, and it's so top heavy, it's wearing out your forearm before the pass is all done, and it's just. But
Well,
the antenna
Frank,
itself
that's
is
that's why I
lightweight.
replaced that's why I replaced it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm using that 3D printed handle that
Mm-hmm.
replaces the PVC. You wouldn't think it makes that big of a difference,
Mm-hmm.
but it really does. So, and I got to put a plug in, Frank. So
Yep.
I've got my giveaway coming up here pretty
Please,
soon,
please.
and I'm actually giving away two elk antennas with the 3D printed handle. So Kyle,
Ooh.
Alpha Alpha Zero Zulu, printed a couple of those for me, and that's part of the giveaway. So to me, that makes that antenna just so much more portable, right? It just makes it even more portable than it is. And I know Eric's a big fan
Why didn't you tell me
of the
about this
Arrow
giveaway before
antenna.
I got all this purchased?
Well, I mean, you're just assuming you're going to win.
Yes. So I
Uh-huh.
can hold out hope.
Well, I like the positivity. We'll call it that.
I at least I want to hold out hope for the handle.
Well, I'm giving the handle with the antenna.
Nice.
So, yeah, so that'll be going out really soon. So keep an eye out for that. If you guys are not part of my community list,
Hmm.
make sure you get signed up on the community list. I'll drop the link there so you
Hmm.
can post that as well, Frank. But yeah, so um, I think that elk is just fantastic for portable use, and I know that Eric's a big fan of the Arrow, and he's probably right. That one probably is a little bit better performer,
Hmm.
but in terms of
The arrow is,
fiddling
but
with
it's
stuff,
weight.
well,
And
it's weight and just stuff, right? You've
and
just
it's
got
behind
more,
me there. And
yeah.
I this is not a fault on the arrow. Let me just preface this. It's not a fault. But what caused me to fail, looking back on the months and months of trying to get a contact with that arrow antenna, was the dual plexer in it, and I burnt it out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
That thing
that's
will
why
only
I
take
think
10
this,
watts.
yeah, it just completely destroyed it, and it was one mistake, but I wasn't able to recover from it, and I was kind of like still using it, hoping that it did not burn it out, but I think it's finally burnt out because I did have limited success using two different radios with it, but it's a pain in the butt to use two different radios. I want to resurrect that somehow someday and put it on top of the house,
Yeah.
but um,
Yeah, I
you're
just dropped that link in the meeting chat
mhm,
there. If you
mhm.
I don't think I can post it,
You,
Frank,
you're
or else I
you
would
have
have.
you have a ranch, Robert.
Oh, I do?
Mhm.
I was unaware. All right,
I,
I
I
can drop it then.
I'm doing it now. I'm adding context. Robert's channel giveaway.
There you go.
Boom, boom, boom. Um, but that antenna is still great. I do like it. It's just heavy. I always had to use it with a tripod because unlike the Arrow antenna, its weight by itself makes it pretty heavy. And I got to figure out how to figure it out. Eric says, get the MFJ duplexer.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That might work.
I actually used the Arrow with just the 70 centimeter elements on it
I really thought
for
about that too.
reception. That's what I used for the Fram to Ham
Be,
event, and it worked
because
great.
Well, I think I did state that actually. I did state that in the video I talked about what you need to get on the air, and I showed the Arrow antenna itself with only the 440 elements on it because walking through the house with that thing, man, you're catching every corner. So I just had the 440 on it.
Yep, yep.
I
Hey,
loved
I
it.
saw some people are signing up, so
Sweet.
thanks for the sign up, folks. So just so you guys know what I'm doing with that
Go ahead.
community list is, once a quarter, maybe a little more frequently when there's a lot of stuff going on. I send out a newsletter just to kind of let you guys know what's going on. I see another one there popping in. Um, so I'm not going to spam you. I don't share that. Nobody else gets access to that list. So I respect people's privacy, and if you guys no longer want to be part of that, just when you get one of those newsletters, just say unsubscribe, and you'll be taken care of. So, but that's where you find out about the giveaways and all the other fun stuff that we're doing.
Awesome. Um, with this kit, I have a new enthusiasm to do antenna work. I don't want to fail because before you came on, man, I went full hog satellites. I don't know if you were around during that time, but I did 3 videos explaining what our satellites are, then a video on Doppler effect, and that's back when I did a crude hand drawing of a train, which is still in my intro. But I went full hog and I was never successful at it. But
Hey,
I'm looking forward to coming back. And to be honest, seeing you so you're making it so it looks easy, and it just killed me that I wasn't able to have a contact yet. So I want to get this. I got the kit now. All I need is the time on the weekend to do it.
well, that's it. And hey, bring it to more with you, right?
Honestly, I thought
So
about that.
I mean, you just got to start taking it with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've made it nice and compact, so you just got to start taking it with you.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we need more people operating satellites, right? This is one of the coolest things you can do in the hobby. You can do it as a tech. There's no reason that people shouldn't be giving this a try.
Yeah,
It can,
and it's all right there. It's not
yeah,
a thousand
yeah,
dollar radio. The radio itself is about 200, but it's a mobile radio, and I used
yep.
a mobile radio because it's cross band repeat. Let's talk about that for a second here. Everyone is looking for the pinnacle radio that's full duplex, but for satellite work, you don't really need a full duplex radio. A cross band repeat radio is what you're kind of looking for, and so that on at least on the mobile side is because you're not needed to transmit and receive on the same on frequency or on the same band because the
Well,
satellites are 2 meter and 440 except for the linear. If you're not
so those Yeah, so those are usually 2 meter and 440 also, but they're usually SSB. But um, whenever you see crossband repeat, chances are 99% of the time that's going to be a full duplex radio.
mm-hmm,
Now, not all full duplex radios are created equal, right? Some manufacturers do things a little bit differently. Some of them will only do dual receive if you're transmitting on either band A or band B, right? I'm not
mm-hmm.
going to name any names, but you know they're not all created equal. But if you see crossband repeat in the specs, chances are you'll be able to. Chances are it's full duplex as well.
Mm-hmm. And So that's why I grabbed this radio because it's crossband. Plus, I like it because I see both sides now with an S meter, so I can
Yep.
see what's going on there, and I can easily change up or down with the knobs. Versus a handheld, it was kind of finicky to get it to work right because you're changing frequencies on one side and then just listening to the other and transmitting on one. It
Yeah.
got a little weird.
Well, look, it's already an octopus game, right? Trying to do all the things.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're trying to do it with two HTs, you know, that can be an extra challenge. Now, do you need full duplex? No, you don't need it, but it's good practice, right? Otherwise, you could be stomping on somebody and you don't know it. You might not be getting into the satellite and you don't know it, right? You could just be
That's the
standing there
key.
talking to yourself,
That's the
right?
key.
That's embarrassing.
If
But
you're transmitting and not hearing yourself back, then you're
mhm,
not making it.
right. But you're only going to know that with a full duplex radio.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, SO-124 is starting to get a little more action on it.
I looked
So
on 124, and when I was looking at its information, I didn't see a uplink. I only saw a downlink. So I took it out of my list.
no, you shouldn't take it out of your list. It's active and folks are starting to use it. You know, for a little while there, it was kind of a slow take up, but I think everybody's on board now.
Okay.
So we can take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
But just quickly, I
Shoot.
didn't want to forget to get back to the SSTV event that's going on right now. Hey, Bill. Uh, Guys, I was picking up images on my 2 meter, 70 centimeter radio that I've got in the shack that I use for just general communication. I just set it to the frequency and it's funny. I just kind of left the radio on. I actually forgot I left it on. And I've got a J pole. That's the primary antenna I use for just, you know, chatting around Springtown here. But I've probably picked up three or four images, not not doing anything, right? Just the pass has been such that I've been able to hear it and receive it, and didn't take any magic there. I just had to be recording the pass or decoding it with your Robot 36 or whatever it is you like to use.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys can uh, certainly start playing with that. And I'll bet if you go outside and stand with your HT with your rubber duck on it, you're going to hear it and you'll be able to decode it.
What is the best place to find? And this is the last question here. Um, the what satellites are operating and what frequencies they use.
Yeah. So I think the best place to look here, let me find a quick web page here and I'll share it. Is the AMSAT Oscar um, listing. Let me just pull it up here real quick.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's
This
AMSAT. I
is
was trying to preload that page. I couldn't find it.
this is the Oscar status page
There,
here.
yes. Here it is. I beat you to it.
You got it? Okay. Let me find you again. I got too many things open. There you go. Yeah. So if you take a look at this, if you see blue, blue is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
That means people are making contacts. You see the little numbers there. Those are people who've actually reported in that they've had a successful contact. So if you look on that ISS FM line, you see that straight line of blues the whole way, almost the whole way across. That means that that's operating. If you see red, that means it's not operating, right? That means somebody tried and there was no signal captured. If we go back to that ISS FM line, if you ever see purple on that list, that means the ISS crew, that means an astronaut was active during that window. So you see at the top, you've got the dates. If you actually hover over some of those,
Mm-hmm.
you'll see the people who have reported, those particular passes. Okay. And then the yellows are just for telemetry. And then if you see an orange, on occasion you'll see an orange. That just means there was an equal number of conflicting reports. So you had,
Hmm.
somebody saying, "Yay, I heard it," somebody else saying, "Nay, it wasn't there."
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
anytime you're ever trying to do if you're trying to do a demonstration, Frank, right?
mm-hmm.
Look at this right beforehand and make sure that the satellite's operating, because there's
Yep.
nothing worse than standing out there doing a demonstration and
With
the
a bunch of
satellite's not
people.
operating.
So,
Yeah.
from this, how do we find out what the frequencies are? Because
So
this gives us the status.
yeah, so and some of these pages have more information than others, and some of them take you to different locations. What I suggest is you can, if you've got your ISS detector or your I use ISS detector. That's the one I always recommend, but there are certainly others out there. Usually, if you go in and you pull up that satellite, it'll tell you the frequencies for the different modes that are supported by that satellite.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of satellites have multiple modes, right? So they'll have, um, a transponder, and then maybe they're also sending telemetry. I think all of them send telemetry in some form or
Form
fashion.
fashion.
Yep, yep. And some of them have multiple radios on them that do different things, right? That work in different modes, different digital modes. So ISS detector will tell you about every single radio on a particular satellite and how you can interact with that satellite.
And is ISS detector both on Android and
It
Google?
is. It's on Android and on Apple.
Nice, and it's
That's
free. However, if you want
it's
the amateur radio satellites to also be protected or detected and shown in the app, you got to pay the $5 upgrade in-app purchase, or you watch an ad and you get it free for 2 days.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Gotcha, gotcha.
So there's a way to
Um,
do it, but after those 2 days, you got to reset your filters because it'll clean out your filter. I was like, ooh, that's
gotcha.
devious.
Well, and look, for $5, it's a one-timer, right? It's not like a monthly
Yep.
subscription or any. I mean, I think when I got it, it was $2.99, several years ago, and I've never had to pay for it again.
Hmm.
And they are fantastic about adding satellites as soon as they
That
are
being said,
available. I mean,
I
even the FRAM2
that
mission
was out there
was
within like 4 to 5 hours.
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, within hours of the
I didn't know
of
if they
the
were gonna
TLEs being published.
outdate. I didn't know they were gonna update their app just for a 3 or 4 day mission, but they did.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that is amazing.
Yeah. To me, that's, $5 well spent
Hmm.
if you've got any interest at all.
All right, so Robert, where can we find more about you and what's coming up on your channel?
Yeah. So you can find me at Digital Rancher on YouTube. And right now, I am in the process of the ultimate satellite ground station series. So,
Ooh,
yeah,
now I really
I'm
want
I'm
to come over.
excited about it. Yeah, it's I've just kicked that series off. I've been doing some work related to that here for about a week or so, shooting along the way. I've got a tower, a small tower, a 6-foot tower um, that's going to be the support for that. I have a what else? I've got an M squared antenna I'll be building on the channel. I'll
Mm,
be talking about setting up some low noise amplifiers for both 2 meters and 70 centimeters. I'm going to have a discussion about um, how to choose a location and how the location or how the distance from your shack impacts the decisions you make on other gear that you choose for your station. So there's a
interesting.
lot of different aspects to this that I'm going to be including in the series, and I'm really excited about it. Something I've wanted to do for quite a while, and
Robert,
we're making it happen.
N8YO says he's following you and looking forward to the follow up series for EME. If you want to do EME, Me and you need to build twin stations. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but I need a partner because there's a lot of mechanical work I don't know how to do. But if you want to
Yeah,
build an EME antenna, I will build it with you and we'll build two of them.
yeah, I'm kind of building this with the idea that I'm going to put a 6 meter antenna on this
Mm-hmm.
as well. So I'm not going to do it right out of the gate, but that's certainly something I want to do. I want to put a 6 meter antenna on there, and that'll give me just one more band to do some EME stuff with.
You love it. I love it. Well, thank you for coming on, Robert. I appreciate it. Hang out for me in a second.
You bet. You bet.
And it's back to me. Y'all have been amazing. This has been a awesome live stream. This is wrapping up the farm launch event, and the channel will be back to regular scheduled amateur radio programming. Um, this has been fun and amazing. I loved everything. Eris worked on this. Thank you to all the Eris groups for putting this together and helping us with getting more people into amateur radio. Let me do the rundown again. Thank you to all my Patreon supporters. This channel can't be done without you. If you want to support me, head over to Patreon or click the membership button in YouTube and support me and everything I do on this channel. And audio podcasts, please search for Tank Radio and listen to all those audio podcasts because they do help me out. And you know what? They're fun. And I'm actually about to do a recording. And Mike, this is your official heads up. I see you in the chat. We're going to do one later this week. Y'all are awesome and amazing. And as always, go forth and conquer. You know that means to say bye, Robert. You muted yourself. Let's try again. Say bye, Robert.
Bye, Robert. I'm eating dinner. Sorry, guys.
Adios. Thank you to all Patreon supporters. You can support me on Patreon. There is a link in the description below. And to all my tankers out there, go forth and conquer.